Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Plastic Cards Podcast, the show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name is Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, indie game dev extraordinaire. He's been practicing social distancing his whole life, Gavin Jones. Gavin, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing with the whole social distancing, dilemma with the entire COVID-19 thing going on?
Honestly, I feel like I've done a pretty bad job of it. I've gone to the grocery store every day for probably the last week.
See, that's what we do as well. Like, that's what's been the hardest thing. It's like we're really bad at just stocking up on stuff.
Yeah.
And so this has been a struggle because it's like my natural instinct is to just go buy whatever thing I'm in the mood for, and you can't do that.
I would also like to know when I can buy toilet paper again.
Yeah, you mentioned that it's been a struggle for you to buy. And so you've been, how many days without wiping your butt now?
I haven't, but so part of my mindset is if everyone only bought what they need, then we'd all be fine.
Yeah, but it seems like within the last 2 weeks, like we're not doing that. And it's
Right.
maybe I'm hoping that it's that curve is coming down, but we seem to be not fucking doing that. It's really upsetting. And
Right.
although is that really a surprise, like in America, that we're just idiots? Like it seems like.
No, but it's also it makes me a little bit nervous because people are saying now with the social distancing, it seems like people are saying, okay, now everyone's stocked up, so kind of dig in a little bit here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can't really dig in. I've prepped food for lunch for this week.
Oh, watch
That's
out!
all I've gotten.
Gotcha. Yeah,
got
it's
ramen,
bad.
Got no backup ramen. I usually have some backup ramen.
I would make sure you get that stuff going just in case. I mean, I'm hoping everything blows over. It's just very annoying and frustrating. And it's funny. Do you see like the different stuff on social media because now the big thing across the nation is basically if you don't need to go outside, just stay at home.
Right.
But there's these constant like bar meetups and public outing meetups where people are like, hey, we're not going to let this scare us. It's like, hey, motherfucker, no, you got to stay home.
Point.
Right.
Yeah, the point, yeah.
It's not ISIS that you're showing your pride to. It's like, no, it's just a virus. It's going to take advantage of that.
This is not the terrorists win if we're terrified.
No.
And I've seen like one of my favorite bars in town. It's a board game and video game themed bar. And they're still saying, Smash tournaments are still going on, all this stuff.
You got to cut that shit out. I get it because it's like you do want life to kind of still proceed. You don't want to completely shut everything off. You have to live life. I get it, but at the same time, what's going to kill this thing apparently is just having enough of a gap in time and physical contact that it will stop it from spreading. So that's what we need to do.
Or slow it down enough. And it sucks too because I finally started working on the arcade game again, and this is literally the worst time to be working on an arcade game.
Is it? I mean, as far as the programming goes, you're locked in.
Programming is fine, but how's that barcade doing? Who I really want to do well. That's part of the reason I wanted to work on this.
That's true. Well, I'm hoping that it can last 2 weeks with no one going. If it can't, then
it could be more than 2 weeks though.
Yeah, you're right.
We need people in there touching those joysticks. They got to keeping the arcade industry alive.
Yeah, someone use that as a gift later. No, I'm hoping that they keep sanitizing stuff and keep it going.
But that's the issue is it's hard to get sanitizer.
Sure.
We can't sell any. We have the tiniest amount to sell to our customers. So it's tough. Masks are running out. I think it was interesting. I saw on NPR the mask factories can really. I forget what the name of these masks are. It's like a letter and 2 numbers.
Yeah, like T11 or T. Yeah, there's a name for them. Yeah,
I want to say A52.
Yeah, possibly
something like that. And the issue is they can only increase because they take a bit of time. They're not as simple as they look, so they can only increase production so much. That being said, one factory they said has increased production from 10,000 a day, which is normal, to 200,000 a day.
Goo.
So that's insane.
Yeah.
They said, I know one of our companies said they've sold more masks in 1 month than they normally sell in 12 years.
Jesus.
So it's insanity.
Yeah.
And really not everyone needs those masks.
That's part of the deal. And then, that's the issue that we have with just hoarding stuff is that those masks also, the more that people buy them, it limits people that actually need them. As far as if you're in the health industry, if you're dealing with people who are, possibly have the actual illness, it's like you need that shit and they can't get it. Yeah. And they're sold down on Amazon and whatnot.
But
Yeah, it
anyway,
sucks.
this isn't a virus show. This is a video game show. And I've been trying to steer clear. I can't get away from COVID at work.
You can't.
And I got a break on Friday. Or Friday is terrible. It was nonstop what people were talking about.
Yeah.
So this weekend I tried to media blackout.
It got worse over the weekend.
Yeah, I couldn't. I got back on Monday. Thought it would be better. But one of my coworkers who wasn't there before was there now. And she wanted to talk about it because she wasn't there Friday to talk about it with everyone. So
I understand, like, but it's what's going on, and like, and I was talking, me and Megan talking about, it's like, what's the last big thing like this that we've experienced as a country? It's like
9/11.
That's the thing.
It.
Or I think of like Y2K, but that was not at all on the scale. But as far as like fear going on or uncertainty, that was the thing before that, and it's been weird. It's been very weird.
Yeah, we haven't had a big pressure in a long time to really care. But what'd you play this weekend? What was your escape from this godforsaken social zeitgeist hellscape?
Well, been playing Doom. No,
somehow got an early copy.
Well, I actually have been playing the not the newer Doom, obviously, but like there's the $5 original Doom on Switch. I've been playing that. I've never played the actual Doom, traditional Doom.
Was it original Doom or was it Doom 64 Doom?
It's classic Doom. No, Doom 64 comes out the same day the new Doom comes out, Doom Eternal, on Switch. Anyways, I'm sure you can find it anywhere online, but on Switch, it's only on the Doom Classic. But I've never played it before. I never actually sat down and played Doom.
So if you can get Doom 64, supposedly it's just prettier.
Yeah, I keep hearing that because I went down the rabbit hole. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos like chronicalizing all the different Dooms, and Doom 64 is really popular for that era of Doom, and I need to play it. But
do you think when you finish Doom, would you be willing to try Brutal Doom?
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
you're gonna blow my mind.
Oh,
is this something I can look up? I want to look this up.
This is a mod.
Okay.
Not only is it more difficult, but they put in more realistic guns for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
But it's batshit insane. They take a lot of the niceties from modern games and mix it in very well with this. Like aim down sights, but in a way that works.
Okay. So this is Brutal Doom, the trailer we're watching?
Right.
So it's like an up-res. Oh, God.
Yeah,
that's dope.
It is up-res.
Would this run on my shitty-ass laptop, you think?
Buddy, this would run on a TI-80.
Oh, I'm there. Whoa.
But yeah, there's a lot more blood effects. Stuff will like drip off the ceiling.
Oh, that's so cool.
But it's also harder. It's earning its name. I've seen people play, and it's really nuts when it's almost like Super Meat Boy style.
Yeah.
Where you start the level, die 3 seconds in, restart the level, die 3 seconds in, but it's not a 10-second level. So it does help to be good at Doom.
I'm playing this tonight. That's awesome. Because I have a really big Doom itch I need to scratch because I cannot wait for Doom Eternal. And so that's why I even booted up the original Doom. I've never played it.
I will say, I don't know how many levels you're getting into this.
Oh,
I love this shotgun.
That's beautiful.
By the way. It's got a sling, and it will sway when you run, which I think is great.
Oh, okay, nice. Control how much blood you want.
Just turn it the fuck up. That kind of reminds me of back
Oh,
in the
God.
day. There was this
it's
game
beautiful.
around the same time. Jesus, that's a lot of say. Called Lieru. It was kind of like Worms, but real time. Don't look up Lieru. Whatever.
Gotcha.
But you could turn blood up to 200%. So that kind of reminds me. What? I didn't know about
Almost
that.
like the Glory Kills thing that they've added to it.
A little bit. Yeah. So it takes niceties. Oh, I think there's a better lighting engine.
Oh.
But this is a mod. This is the original Doom engine.
This is badass.
The fuck out.
Wow.
So the modding community for this game has never not been insane, but
I need to play this. It's kind of a trip to go back in. Oh my God. It's kind of a trip to go back and play the original Doom because you can't. I'm just used to normal FPS shooters. Like you can't aim up and down. It's just left and right, and you're always, I guess, on the same plane. But it's still really fun though. I was surprised how I thought it'd be weird jumping back in time and that fun doesn't like hold up, but it really does actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I've been playing that and just more. I jumped into the Modern Warfare Battle Royale thing, the Warzone.
Oh yeah, I've been watching a lot of that. Really
I like it.
Fun?
Yeah, it's very fun. There's the two modes, right? So there's Warzone, I think, is a traditional Battle Royale where you jump in with nothing and it's a lot like PUBG. I feel like it's taking PUBG's lunch and just running away with it.
That's the thing, and I've heard somebody else. At least when I watch it, it doesn't feel like PUBG. PUBG is very slow, very methodical. You don't want to take a lot of risks.
That's true.
I see people going balls out with this.
You're right.
It looks like a lot of fun to play. It looks very high stakes.
I think you're right where it is definitely a faster paced version of PUBG. If you can compare them, because PUBG is slower.
Right.
But that's, I guess, why I gravitated towards it more, because I like the gunplay in Call of Duty, and so it just blends that. What's nuts is the map is insanely fucking huge.
Right.
And somehow it runs. There's 150 players. It runs. There isn't a lot of pop in. There's some, but it seems to work. You'll be running around the map and you just notice like, oh, that's another Call of Duty map. You run around, that's another Call of Duty map. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and that was a goal of them. There's somebody in the chat.
Yeah, it's Megan giving us a sound. Our producer in the skies, Megan, says the sound is good. I started to check in every once in a while, make sure the sound is all right. You have a habit of sometimes you'll go on the side of it, and so just make yeah. But
sorry.
that's why no, you're fine. You're the lifeblood of this whole thing.
What were we just talking about?
Just Modern Warfare, like, compared to PUBG.
Right. It is neat to see, and it's a little sad to see, because I thought watching the previous, what was it, Black Ops 3 Battle Royale looked very, very fun. It was a lot more, it seems arcadey. This is still very arcadey.
It is, but a bit more towards the side of PUBG, but still on the arcadey side.
Right. So it's interesting to see how it's transitioned. I do think it'll kill off Black Ops 3.
I think so. It's a good transition into this now.
But it looks fun. It's nice that it's free.
Right. I've been playing so there's the plunder mode too, where you're just trying to gain as much cash as possible. I haven't won one of those matches or the regular version of it, but it's really dope. I haven't been playing with like a group of people, but I feel like that's where it really that's where the fun lies, and just like getting a group of people and all the chaos that can happen. And it's crazy how the map is so huge and it just runs really well. It runs like it's a smaller Call of Duty map, but it's insanely fucking huge.
Right. I hear there's rumors they may push it to 200 people.
I mean, that'd be insane, and I wouldn't doubt it. I think the benefit is, we talked about before, when you spread everyone out, and maybe that's the key, is that even though it seems like it's a huge map, how did they get it to run? That's the key, is that you can spread everyone out. You don't have to load all this shit going on. You can actually keep people, I guess data-wise, you can understand what's going on, keep it in frame behind the scenes, but it doesn't matter to what's going on around you. And I have no idea what's going on. I'm just trying to like quantify my middle school level brain, like what they're actually doing behind the hood.
One thing I was very happy about watching was I saw there was a shot, and I noticed the guy's buddy who was on their squad was moving, but they were laggy. But the opponent that was on the screen was not laggy. So they prioritized
the laggy one, or
who you want to shoot.
Oh, interesting.
Bandwidth wise. So they look smooth. They look proper. You're going to have to use your skill to kill them.
Gotcha.
But your teammate, fuck it. I don't need to know exactly where they are. 30 frames, 60 frames a second.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Give me the bad guy. Right.
And that's good. That shows that they're really, trying to dissect it and make sure they're prioritizing data, because that's a huge issue. Especially if you have 200 fucking people eventually. It's like that's going to be the bottleneck, is the data you have, or what's going on. But so I've been playing that. What else have you been playing this week?
I had my frustration with The Witcher, and I actually talked to one of my coworkers who's beaten The Witcher, and I think he said he started The Witcher 2 on his PC, didn't find it playable, so he bought it for Xbox and beat it on Xbox and was fine, which is weird because I found that the controls were not playable on controller on PC. The menu was just, I'm going through like 10 tabs to try and change a piece of armor, and it could be simplified, but it wasn't.
No, you're playing.
Which would have been great if I could use my mouse, but the mouse sensitivity is all, even at the lowest setting, I'm whipping around at 1,000 miles an hour. So I couldn't do mouse, so I skipped to 3 and also stopped playing 3 shortly in. I just wanted to relax, so I ended up playing Firewatch.
Oh, have you played that before?
I had not.
Nice.
So I beat Firewatch.
Nice. What do you think about it?
It was a solid movie. That was a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you think of? It's been a while. I remember when it came out. The narrative, like, you're not kind of sure which direction it's going. Whether it's like supernatural, something weird, fucked up, or like
aliens.
Yeah.
I definitely really appreciate it. I think this is the first game I've ever played where stuff is sort of playing with your mind, and you actually get an ask another person, Hey, am I going crazy?
Is that, I forget, is that one of the like literal dialogue
that
things?
that was a real dialogue. There was a point where this thing happens with the mic, and all this stuff is mainly happening to you, and not the other person you're talking to.
Right.
So I was just able to ask her, "Hey, am I going crazy?" And she had heard some of the stuff, so she was able to say no. And I thought that was fascinating, but it was a good story. I was very happy with it. I thought it was really cool how they made a game where you basically don't see people the entire time. You do kind of. But,
that's true. Yeah, I think there's like figmates far away from you. Like there's like the teenagers that are fucking around in the lake. I need to revisit it because I forget. It was really cool. I liked the. I don't know if I was like bummed out by the ending. I guess maybe I was expecting something different to turn out than what actually happens. But I like the. I was a really big fan of the dialogue. Just like talking because you're isolated. You're talking to this person on the radio, and it's really you and the connection you have with that person. And you kind of have to decide: do I trust them? Are they telling the truth? Do they have other stuff going on? But no, I dug it. Are you familiar with that team is doing the story on Half-Life Alyx?
They are doing
they are yes yeah. So Valve bought that team. It's at Campo Santo, and so they're just like working on this now on Half-Life Alyx. But so I trust that story wise, I feel like they have a good head on their shoulders to tackle this kind of thing.
I would still love to see what we saw in this game where you're just kind of doing about the game, and if there were more ways that you could just interact with somebody. On the other, there's so many games where it's just you and the talking voice as you go along. But the fact that you got to interact, you got to build that relationship. I think both voice actors were fantastically voice acted. I know at the very end there's a third voice actor, but
I forget. There might be, but I forget.
It's when the twist, when the whole plot is revealed, there's a third voice actor.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they both were phenomenally voice acted. They were both very realistic. His sort of hesitance and her just sort of goofiness and freewheelingness was fantastic. So,
do you think that I feel like a lot of games will kind of give you the illusion of, fucking up the story or like creating your own narrative? This one, it seemed like you could still choose what you said back to that person on the radio, but there's kind of a hallway you're still going down. Like you can't completely bog it where you just like, she just stops talking to you forever, right? You can't do that.
And that's what I looked up at the end when I got there. I wanted to know if there were alternate endings. Yeah. And there are apparently not. Okay. But the dialogue is very freeform. And you can definitely there's a lot of areas you can go to that are not part of the main story. Oh, okay. And there is dialogue there.
Gotcha.
Which is cool because, there's a lot of areas on that map I didn't go to.
That's true. I need to play it. I think I just played it the one time and never revisited it again, but I still had a good time.
Right.
But no, that's cool.
It did weird me out, though, that the main character has thick daddy arms.
He does.
But you look straight down, and you've got a skinny body. It weirds me out. And then you see his picture with his wife.
Yeah, I forget what he looks like, actually.
He's a daddy.
Okay.
Which also, that was a neat thing going into it. So the intro scene is rough.
Man, I forget the intro scene, honestly.
It sets up kind of what the story is with your wife.
Okay, because he has that baggage.
And that's rough. But it's also different than... I was told a completely different story. So I went in... I knew that it's kind of about this, possible relationship he's having with this other woman on the other end of the mic. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was sort of this story of this like cowardly guy that left his wife, who was like 6 months pregnant, to go out into the woods, and then now he's having this flirty relationship with this other woman, and it is not that at all.
Yeah,
it's very different. So that was interesting. And I related with him more. I thought when the one girl started flirting with me, I was just like, well, fuck you. No, I'm married. But no,
I got a baby popping out any minute now.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing in the fucking forest.
So that was neat.
What did you play this on PC?
PC, yeah.
Gotcha. I think by now I want to say it's even on Switch. It's kind of like migrated to a bunch of different stuff.
Be too hard. It does amaze me. There's a GDC talk, I think, about how he made that game with like 10 trees.
Oh, geez.
Or something like that. It's
just
not
controlling what you can see, just only doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know how it works, but it feels like an infinite amount of trees.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it felt like a, fully realized forest
that
you're jumping around in, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. Play anything else?
A little bit more of that roguelike game. I can't remember.
Oh.
Nuclear Throne. Apparently, I'm jumping back into Nuclear Throne.
Okay, not
throw another
Scourgebringer.
100 hours on that. What?
Gotcha. No, not Scourgebringer. That was another one.
No, the one that looks like Scourgebringer.
Oh, okay.
I always forget what it's called though.
I'm blanking.
But, yeah, so am I. And I even play it.
Yeah, I just immediately erased it from your brain.
The name is so generic. It's
I see.
honestly a terrible name, but it's a fun game.
Gotcha.
Oh, apparently Fortnite.
I play a little bit of Fortnite, yeah. So my nephews, they're hard into it, and so since they're all off school now with the whole COVID thing, I gifted a couple of them like a battle pass so they could just start like earning stuff, and they're pretty stoked for that. Well, Gavin, some news happened as far as like just to jump off the same COVID-19 stuff that we're talking about. There was over the weekend, because everyone's basically off work and off school, there was 20 million people on Steam over the weekend. It shattered the record. So this is from Joseph Knoop of IGN. According to Steam's own statistics tracker, a peak count of, I'm going to say basically 20 million people were using the service around 7 a.m. Saturday morning, a brand new record for the service. So unsurprisingly, this also means that some of Steam's and owner Valve's most popular games have also set new concurrent player records. CSGO peaked at 1 million roughly, Dota 2 at 700,000 roughly,
1
PUBG.
1 million for CSGO.
Yeah, it's a lot of nerds there playing that.
What the fuck?
Then PUBG at 500,000 basically. It's unsurprising news, to say the least, considering many people around the globe are practicing a higher level of caution in the wake of the novel coronavirus or / COVID-19 outbreak and likely avoiding public gatherings. That leaves a lot of time to play video games. In the world of film and television, numerous blockbuster movies programs have seen either their theatrical release dates or production schedules postponed. That's been the news on top of everything, of course, like lately is like this movie that's filming is halted production and this thing is going to be pushed back. And
that was one of the things I was discussing with a coworker is right now, so stocks are dirt cheap right now. They're on goddamn sale at this point.
Gotcha.
And the thought is, what in the world can I invest in that as soon as this is all over, it's going to just rise up 1,000 times over?
My first thought was like toilet paper, but no, that was the
yeah. Right now, you want the toilet paper stocks.
Right.
Sell them. I would like. Is it entertainment? I feel like maybe some outdoor activities. What can you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
It's gonna do gangbusters.
Something is going to be the thing that we need now to bounce back after this. But you're right, and there's like potential conversations of like not a stock market just like crash, but like there's just the worst times we've experienced with that whole kind of thing.
Down. And
I'm not very familiar with the stock market. Apparently, it's in the shitter right now.
Yeah, it's a bad deal.
Which also, I don't have the story pulled up because there's no like concrete evidence, but the scuttlebutt online is, will we see a postponement on next gen releases? Do you think we'll see the next stuff kind of push back a bit?
But people have to be now. China's recovering at a pretty good clip.
Okay,
and China's where most of these electronic components are made.
Right.
So if China can recover, which it looks like they're gonna, we may not be that off track.
That's true, but if the economy is kind of in a slump for the next couple of months, or at least the American or European audience going to have the financial ability to then jump on these newer consoles?
That's the issue. We just you look at the amount of people working in restaurants who have no savings,
right? And they're the ones who are
now spending money they don't have. I think credit card companies right now.
Is there a credit card stock we can buy?
Right. Can I invest in Chase Bank? Where do I go?
Start our own cryptocurrency, whatever the fuck it's called. Cryptocurrency?
Crypto, yeah.
Crypto, okay. Crypto the Necromancer.
I wonder how that's doing.
Yeah, I hear nothing about it lately, but.
With all of this, I would love to know. But that being said, I don't know how money has really changed during all of this.
Sure, like exchange rate or value, I'm not sure. It's for smarter minds than mine, but yeah.
Right.
But I thought it was interesting to start off with that one, just because.
1 million CSGO. I always, when I think of CSGO, and I know people that play it, but I don't think of it as that popular. But it
must be. I mean, it's got a huge install base, and people love the.
I know when the tournaments come on, they just do gangbusters.
Yeah, I mean that's why, I guess.
But,
or it's just an easy thing to fall back into that people love, and so it's always there and it plays the way you want it to.
I would love to know how cross-platform games are doing. Right? Oh man, I should jump in and play some Killer Queen. Fuck yeah! But I think cross-platform. This is the amazing time because not only did you have a bigger pool to begin with, but I think isn't Warzone cross-platform?
Apparently,
if you want to play.
Yeah. I think between console
Fortnite
and PC.
must be just. I'd love to get a
Even
number for
PUBG
Fortnite.
unleashed some kind of thing recently, or it's coming up soon. That's actually enabling crossplay. So it's happening.
Yeah, what's PUBG's mobile numbers? There we go.
I don't know.
Let's see what those are. Yeah, it's nuts.
We'll see. Well, and more bad news, Gavin. At least jumping on the whole COVID thing
Oh god,
related
so
to
much
that.
news this.
Yeah, it's been 1 week. I feel like this. We've experienced
rough
a whole year of stuff, but it's been really just a couple of weeks here with all this.
I feel it's definitely. It seems like the last 5 years. Every time New Year's comes around, we're like, all right, fuck that year. This year is gonna be our year, and it's never our year.
It just keeps getting worse and worse.
Oh god, it's never our year.
No, and this one was maybe coming down the pipe. We could I guess we could see the hints coming up. But this is E3 2020 is canceled officially. This is last week. Jason Schreier of Kotaku has the details here. The biggest trade show in video games is skipping a year. E3 2020, which was planned to take place at the LA Convention Center in June, is canceled as a result of the COVID-19 coronavirus. So I'm kind of skimming through here. The Entertainment Software Association, the ESA, the video game lobbyist group that runs the trade show, said in a statement to press last Wednesday that it'll be looking to coordinate an online experience to showcase industry announcements and news in June 2020. So they're going digital because they can't have an actual physical trade show.
What is that?
Yeah, and
This is when Stadia needs to step in and say, hey, you can jump in line. You can play the future now on Stadia. Nobody can download the game. They can just play
stream
it on these servers. Stadia, this is when you step in and win the whole fucking thing.
you think, but no, they're not going to do any of that.
They're still not prepared.
No, they're not. It's such a bummer because they have the smartest minds on the Stadia team. Of course, they got the best talent to help them build this, but they're not capitalizing on that kind of thing. Maybe
What
that's
if Microsoft does this? Microsoft is set up to do it.
they could. Yeah, I forget the name of the service, but their streaming service,
xCloud?
xCloud. Yeah, they have it enabled, so they could do that.
Just
they could
do it.
They could potentially, when they because they've announced they branched off and they're going to do their own mobile event, they could say, hey, you can play these things now. You can stream these on xCloud.
I would not wait 2 seconds. I wouldn't even finish the press conference. That's why they need to finish on that note. But I would not finish the press conference if they said that. I would be on xCloud right now. I don't $10 a month, whatever. I'm at least you're going to get my foot in the door if it's worth it. Which again, I don't want to pay to upgrade my system for the next gen, so it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in that same boat where they're going to kind of let it ride for as long as they can.
Yeah.
No, you're right. That's a brilliant idea. I don't trust Stadia to do that kind of thing. For whatever reason, they could.
Actually, at last minute, I don't think it's that hard to make an xCloud game. I'm sure it's probably just a game.
I don't know. But I do think the Stadia has the ability to do it, but it's the decision making that's going behind the scenes that's stopping that from happening.
This is my 12-year-old conspiracy theory trying to figure out what Nintendo is going to pull up. But man, Microsoft, you couldn't top that if they did that. If you could play a Cyberpunk demo right now.
Yeah, but this table's gonna lift because my boner can only withstand so much.
Everyone,
it'd be dope.
It'd crash the system, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but fuck, man.
No, that'd be amazing. I'm not sure if they're gonna do that. That'd be really cool. But yeah, so Microsoft is gonna have their own digital event. Now, E3 is claiming they're gonna have some kind of digital event. I'm not sure what that's gonna be, but it seems like everyone's will splinter off and do their own thing. So Jason Schreier has some of the news as far as what was planned to be a part of this E3 announcement. So this year, a newcomer planned to enter the field. Warner Bros. Games was preparing to host an E3 press conference for the first time. According to 3 people familiar with the publisher's plans, WB Games had planned to talk about a number of much-anticipated games, including a new Batman, Harry Potter game and that had leaked in 2018, and the next game from Arkham developers Rockstar Studios. It remains to be seen whether Warner Bros. Will instead hold its own digital event or do something else entirely. I know the Rocksteady one, that's one every year people are like, hey, let's see what you're working on, and they haven't been willing to talk about it. It sucks that now this year they're like, hey, we're ready to go, and then this shit happens.
The big guns were locked, loaded.
Yep. They were going to show it all, but and I think there's still potential for them to have their own thing, and it seems like that's more likely.
I'm willing to bet with how much money and these people are prepared so many months in advance.
Oh yeah.
This isn't going to be that hard of a pivot. I'm sure, honestly, you look at how good Nintendo's directs are. I don't know how much time it takes to prep one of those. I'm sure the trailers take a bit to prep, but
Yeah, and you can, because there's now no goalpost, there's no like hard set time frame.
Yeah.
When the trailer's done, when that vertical slice is done, you can just put it out when it's ready.
Yeah.
You don't have to be limited to that E3 window.
I just want somebody to bring back Aisha Tyler.
Yeah, she was awesome. So I'm hopefully somebody uses her to host something.
She can make us cringe without an audience. I don't care. And she's the one example too of cringe I love.
Yeah.
And
no, she's hilarious and she's really cool. And I like that she leans into when it's fucking weird. Like she knows. She's a comic. Like she knows when it's fucking
right. She was definitely one of the ones where the first year she did it, the internet hated her, and the next year.
I mean, not as much as like Joel
right.
McHale. Everyone like saw him and went, nope, and let's get Alicia
He needed
back.
to lean. He definitely felt awkward. He didn't lean hard enough into it.
He's too cool for school.
And I'm sure Aisha got, although she handled it better, I think she got more shit because she was a woman. But she just leaned into it so hard. We were ready. She was doing weird shit with the audience. Oh, it was great.
And I think she's a gamer more than like Joel McHale was. I don't even know what Joel McHale hosted. Was it an actual or Game Awards or something? I know he was
an
on
E3. It was definitely an E3. I remember there was a point where they played laser tag, and he clearly looks like he has no idea what the fuck is going on, which was fine because that never became a game and shouldn't have.
It wasn't like a physical laser tag game. It was like a video game that was coming out.
No, it was a physical laser tag game.
Didn't know that.
With I
like
think
Nerf?
it was using PlayStation Move or something.
Oh,
but
okay.
It looked bad.
Gotcha. I see. Well, we're not going to get this anymore with E3 being gone.
That's okay. I love Joel McHale. It didn't besmirch
He's fine.
it for me.
I love the soup. He was on the soup.
Yeah, it did raise Aisha Tyler even higher in my mind.
I think you're right. Yeah. Now with E3 pretty much physically being canceled anyways.
Which Gamescom, by the way, has announced that, or they haven't announced, but they haven't canceled it yet, which is astounding.
Are they in summertime?
I don't know.
You think that everyone else is kind of just dropping ships or dropping out of this? So
which is crazy too for them because that's in Germany. I've heard as far as COVID-19, 19, whatever it is, Germany's doing fantastic right now.
Okay.
So
they just hand out like vaccines as you walk in the door. Like, man, we got this covered.
Maybe they just wash their hands regularly. Anyway,
wow,
I don't.
That's the key, I guess. Who would have thought?
It's if you don't talk to people, you can't.
That's true. So with to pontificate, with E3 being gone, do you foresee it coming back? Is it kind of already on its last legs, and this is the final blow, the fatal blow?
It was definitely on its. I think it had 3 more years. It had a wake up call. Definitely losing. What's his name?
Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley is It's crazy to think that this guy that got not that much respect that many years ago. He's
turned it around. He has cachet with his name. He has Game Awards. So for him to not be involved, it's a big deal.
Right. That being said, I'm actually after this last Game Awards, I'm less excited for this next Game Awards.
Really? They showed off the Xbox One.
They showed off a lot of ads.
Yeah.
They got to
pay the bills.
Ads.
They got to keep the lights on, Gavin.
But they're on. They're using them. They're
neon
not using those low watt bulbs. No.
It's caviar lights going on.
But this is their chance to really give them time to reinvent themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks. They'd probably already invested a lot of money in this year. And that's going to be a lot of costs that they're going to have to eat. That's a lot more costs that everyone else is eating, I'm sure.
Sure.
Because you pay to demo with these things.
I had no idea, but that doesn't surprise me. I'm sure that's a deal.
So yeah, that's a lot of money that they're losing. But this is their chance. They have more months now. They're going to come back next year. And if they can't come back next year, it's done.
I think you're right. Do they come back with just a stronger physical, presence, or do they go all digital?
They got to be PAX, but better.
Yeah,
they have to.
But I think PAX survives because it's splintered out and it's smaller stages that they can then spread throughout the country and throughout the time.
PAX is a full-time job for a lot of people.
Yeah,
to keep those events running.
I'm sure, but I think that's their key is that they're just kind of not spread thin, but they're streamlined a bit because they're all they can happen throughout the year.
They gotta. E3 has to maintain what originally it had that nobody else had was the most announcements.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I care about E3 above every other event. which the Game Awards deflated quite a bit.
Game Awards has a lot, and now all these different companies like Sony's out, so they have their control over their own announcements. Right. Xbox is going to do their digital thing now. Do they come back to E3, or do they say, hey, we have more control over our message? Bethesda used to do their own thing, and so it's like, I don't know, because now the whole industry is moving to every different company just controls their own narrative, their own messaging. So I don't know, but I guess it's a bummer. As a kid, I always wanted to go to E3, but now as I grow up and I just have...
supposedly it's pretty miserable to actually
apparently, yeah. Even when I hear about PAXs, I want to go to PAX, but the idea of being around a bunch of people and... It's
a lot of lines. It smells really bad.
Yeah.
Like, you can't know that smell until you've been into it. I think the worst epicenter of smell, the first year I went, we went to the concerts, and the concert's really fun, but somehow I don't know how we ended up at the very front. We're right up next to the stage.
Yeah.
Which the smell is just unbelievable.
Gotcha.
And I've smelled some weird things riding the train to work and back in Chicago, but this was that next level. When you think this is a smell that would normally clear out a train, but no, we're packing people in there.
We're making it stronger by getting closer to it.
But it was great. I gotta see a lot of cool acts. Jonathan Colton live.
I've heard that name before.
He wrote the Portal song.
Oh, okay, I know that. Yeah, okay.
And a lot of other really fun songs. I think you'd like him if you like.
Sure, I'll check it out.
I'm not gonna say it live on air, but
okay,
I'll say it afterwards.
Gotcha. Well, you made out with the guy, the creator of the
Portal song.
The Portal song. I know that's where you're leading, but I don't want to spill the beans. No, and that's another thing is behind the scenes with E3 being gone. There's a lot of like rippling that happens. So there's caterers, there's people that set the stages. They're no longer at work.
You think the giant like things that people have been carving out for months to make a booth?
Yeah,
that's going to be pointless next year.
Pretty much. I mean, hopefully it was early enough where they didn't work on it yet, but I don't know. There's also like deals or not. There's in these different events, like you're rubbing elbows, you're talking, you're not advertising. You're what's the proper term? Where you're actually like communicating with people and making deals, networking.
Yeah, not social.
Not social distancing. Yeah, the opposite of that.
They're absolutely huge for networking.
Right, and now this is going to be a huge event. That's not a place where you would do that now.
And considering we lost GDC as well.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's the bigger networking.
That seems like it. Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a rough time right now.
That sucks.
I'm hoping by 2021 we start seeing an uplift and we're back on track for whatever a normal life is. But it's already 2020.
It worries me too, though, with these budgets, because when these people are making these big AAA games, they budget in the E3. So when they are buying all these crazy pieces and things that they're going to do to make this big booth, I'm sure that most of those people that manufacture those parts have a non-refundable, non-cancelable agreement.
Oh, so it's money that still has to be spent or already is spent.
You made the order. It's yours whether you want it or fucking not.
Gotcha. Is that why the next Doom comes with a piece of a stage that doesn't exist anywhere? Like they're just funneling it into like a special edition or something?
I can see that.
It's like, we paid for this, so here's this ledge.
I think the only thing that it may not affect really is like the models, because they'll... Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, sure. They pay them
like
at the very end,
but they're just going to book another modeling gig. So
I think they'll survive. They're hot as shit, so they'll be okay.
Yeah.
But everyone else, like the caterers, the janitors, the people that actually can't work this.
People.
Yeah. It's crazy because these things just ripple and just affect so much stuff along the way.
Right.
Well, Gavin, I guess in some better news, this was today. So Xbox Series X just dropped a bunch of fucking news out of nowhere.
Our boy Joey Screbbles. You love to say that name.
You hate to see it. You love to see him, but Joey Screbbles. This is of IGN. I forgot to write that down. And we'll get into this. It's a meaty fucking steak we can chew apart here. But the Xbox Series X full specs revealed, and I'm going to use your brain to actually pick apart what these specs mean.
You know I don't know hardware.
You know more than I do. You know way more than I do. So I'm going to use your glorious brain.
Fuck a teraflop is?
Well, there's more than one. We know that much.
I didn't even know people were on like 32 gigs of RAM.
Well, yeah, they go into the details here, so it's pretty nuts. Now, the full specs of the full specs list for the Xbox Series X has been released. The specs were revealed in an Xbox blog post, and you can see the full list below on IGN's website here. So those specs also confirm what the Series X mystery port is. So as Digital Foundry reports, and Digital Foundry has a super dope, in-depth like YouTube video picking it apart, and they got to go hands-on. So Microsoft and Seagate have made a proprietary external 1 terabyte SSD that can be plugged into the console for extra storage. Essentially, it's a giant memory card.
It's a terabyte SSD?
Yeah. So it's a very small one too. So we're looking at a picture of it inserting to the back of this Xbox One Series X
That
here.
looks like a memory card. Like, look at that USB next to it. That's the size of a memory card.
Yeah.
And look how close that is to the CPU.
So that's the thing. Apparently, it needs to go directly in there, and that's why you can't use external hard drives for Xbox Series X games. And that's a big...
That's good, though. Set that standard.
I think you're right, although I'm hoping that, and we'll get into it, I'm hoping the price point on the special proprietary memory cards isn't insane, like something like the Vita or whatever.
It's going to hurt a little bit.
It's not going to be good.
But here's the thing. If they set this standard, hopefully PC motherboards are going to start following suit with this standard. Now, PC, they have their own cool thing where you can like plug I don't really know how it works, but a hard drive, a solid state hard drive into a graphics card slot, and it's that much closer. But this is an amazing idea.
Gotcha.
This is fantastic. This could become standard. Sony could adopt it eventually. Hell, Nintendo could jump on board with it. This could be a big deal for the entire industry if they adopt this.
And see,
this is fantastic.
I didn't realize that. See, that's why I need your glorious PC brain guy. So we go back into this.
Phones. That's the thing. Can we? It looks small enough. You could potentially, but I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, that's a good idea. So Digital Foundry's testing includes some impressive reading. The Series X processor, for instance, is powerful enough to run 4 Xbox One S game sessions simultaneously. Ray tracing, a major point of pride for the Xbox Series X and PS5, is also delivering apparently incredible results. Dedicated hardware inside the Series X seemingly means that the console can handle more intensive ray tracing than expected, harnessing the equivalent of 25 teraflops of power, despite the console's GPU having 12 teraflops.
That's definitely impressive. I've heard with some of the games, Metro Exodus, the ray tracing isn't as much as people thought. There'd be one point of ray trace, typically the sun, and then everything else would be traditional lighting. So they have to fuse the two so you can make it work, but not perfectly.
Gotcha.
It's not everything it was promised. So getting more of what we were promised is a big deal. And potentially when they release a later version of the Series X down the line, we could have that much more ray tracing. It could be that much more badass.
Yep.
That being said, maybe we want to hold on till the next ray tracing generation.
Sure.
But that's a big deal. And you think about running 4 versions or being able to render 4 versions of a game at once simultaneously. It's really, I don't think people really understand just how much effort goes into rendering a single frame of any game ever, keeping it running as smoothly as they are. There's so much optimization. So running 4 is stupid.
Just to kind of like compare like how much power is under the hood, they can possibly do that. I guess that helps with like reflections. I know I'm a big nerd and I never understand how they work and why they're not used, but it always catches me. I always notice it in reflections in games, especially mirrors in games. And I always like, well, pick your brain. It's hard to do. It's hard to do, right? So at least this is kind of like showing me that they don't have to render all these different reflections, but now they can kind of start dipping into that ability to like render, mirrors and just like complicated reflections in general.
Right.
It seems like this is down that direction.
I would still say now we've had, I remember the first time real-time ray tracing was shown off was, actually that was maybe only 2 years ago. But this technology is definitely still in its infancy. It's not the standard yet.
Gotcha.
And it's going to be a while till it's a standard, but this is a cool first step.
Although once it's in consoles, that kind of like standardizes
it's
stuff.
It's a big help.
Right?
I'm honestly still more excited about that terabyte memory card.
Yeah, so they go into detail as far as like what kind of
that could really be
technology
standard.
They're using. So dedicated memory cards, the cards simply slot into the rear of the console and are used as a quick way to extend the built-in 1 terabyte NVMe SSD.
It's already got a built-in?
It already has. It comes with 1 terabyte standard.
So you don't need this.
No, but you can expand because you're locked into that 1 terabyte. That's the limit on the actual console. This lets you expand to a larger size if you need to. Microsoft is using PCI Express 4.0 connections for both the internal NVMe SSD and external SSDs, meaning the speeds are designed for next-gen games. It also means that games are optimized for the Xbox Series X will need to run on the internal SSD or the expansion cards. Microsoft's Larry Herb revealed in a tweet that owners can continue to use USB 3.1 and external HDD to run Xbox One 360. So your external hard drives can be used still for these last-gen games, but for Series X games, they need to run on their proprietary memory card or the SSD that's in the console. I'm hoping these 1 terabyte expansion cards aren't that nuts, because the first thing I want to do is upgrade the hard drive, because 1 terabyte, once you have these beefy fucking games, isn't that much.
It's still a lot. It's going to be a lot less on the next gen, especially like Call of Duty alone ate up my whole hard drive.
Yeah, Modern Warfare, and they keep adding all these different updates that are like 50 gigs, 60 gigs. Like, what are you guys doing over there?
Their textures are stupid high res.
Apparently. So like one of these 1 terabyte things is going to be just for Modern Warfare, apparently.
Which blows my mind, because you look at Crysis 3. Which still arguably looks better than Modern Warfare, whatever the fuck we're on.
The new one?
Yeah. And somehow was like a quarter of the size. What are we doing here?
I don't know if it's like, not laziness, that's not the right term, because obviously maybe they're not optimizing it the right way or streamlining it. I don't know.
I don't understand.
Yeah. So that is going to be interesting. It's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how much do they charge for these things, because people are going to want to upgrade their standard SSD that's in there, the 1 terabyte.
I would at least say 300.
Ooh, for 1 terabyte, as far as like if you compare it to like an SSD,
you put that in your PC, you could
sure
capture a lot of stuff. That's
right.
1 terabyte's a lot of memory.
It is a lot, but we're moving towards
and
like
solid
that
state,
being,
which is hard to do. It's hard to increase size in solid state form.
I see. Gotcha. Well, I have some other details on that, Gavin. So here's another breakdown of the card. So this is from Seagate itself. We're proud to announce our partnership with Xbox to develop the Seagate storage expansion card, and we're looking at a picture here. This is just what they look like. It's kind of it's cool and novel how it's like going back to actual memory cards that we've known growing up, but not at all on that scale. Like, it's pretty nuts how much storage you can fit in these in the same size, basically. Right. But so going through these other tweets, Xbox also, yeah. So
that's an 18 cubic fridge.
So Xbox tweeted this. This is from their account today.
Just to flex my fridge knowledge. That's probably a Whirlpool. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to put on those handles, but fine, I'll do it for you. All right, that's all I'm done.
Look at the fridge expert, Gavin. Yeah. How much? What does this bad boy look like it weighs? This standard fridge to you? What do you think? Is that a 2-man job? Is that a 1-man job? What do you think?
Oh, that's a 1-man job.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you want 2 people, but when we had a day where somebody called in sick and we had to send someone out solo, you just send them out with fridges like that.
How many people do you think to lift this Xbox One Series X?
1?
Yeah, okay. But yeah, so Xbox...
It's a weird trick question.
So they tweeted this image out as a joke, but just a fridge for scale. Yeah,
gotcha.
Just showing the same size comparison here.
I mean, that was the thing. You mentioned that really it's basically the size of maybe 1.5 GameCubes stacked on top of each other.
Pretty much, roughly.
So it's not as big as...
No.
Maybe 2 GameCubes, but it's not as big as I've given it guff for.
Yeah. So I have a couple of influencers. There is Digital Foundry, and then Austin Evans has hands-on with the Xbox One. And so there's in-depth video that I suggest everyone check out. But this is him handling the actual Xbox Series X and talking about. So
that's roughly from his neck to right there.
Yeah. So that's a good. I think it is 2 GameCubes stacked on top of each other, or 2 Xbox One X's, but like not the same width, just like the same thickness. Like if they're like lengthwise.
It is a strange way of building it though, because no one builds a motherboard with those dimensions. I guess maybe.
Now you're right.
At one point.
So one thing I think is nuts, and you got to watch this video. They let him Microsoft had him on site. Mm-hmm. They have all the components separated, and he got to like just basically build it and show you how it's built together. And these are just like stripped down versions.
Fucking fan, holy shit!
Yeah. So they talk about.
Oh my god.
In the video, they talk about how they specially made this fan, and it's made to like just draw in air in a precise way that really benefits the form factor.
This is why they wanted silent, because if that fan starts sounding like it's going to take off, it's actually going to take off.
Yep. It's a vapor chamber heatsink thing. Yeah. So the Xbox One X has this like vapor chamber thing, and they're using the same thing, but it's like a beefed up version of it. So that fan, there's only one fan. It's just that one.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
That is a meaty heatsink though. So standard looking.
It also
blows
goes
my
over the
mind
memory
that,
too.
That CPUs just always perpetually look like CPUs.
Yeah, they really don't change. They just get more complicated, I guess. But
Maybe
yes,
the cell did.
the memory is
the
what
memory
it.
card looks
so
like
the,
a memory card.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of encased in this aluminum chassis thing. But yeah, so the video itself.
We are looking at the thing.
Yeah, we are
You're
looking.
previewing it.
Yes. So I mean, I highly encourage everyone to check this out. He basically
what the fuck is that where the oil goes?
it's like another heat thing or protective layer, but he builds it and.
I like that picture in the background.
Oh yeah, he references that. So that's them like trying to explain like the air flow.
That is thicker. That is stacked a lot thicker than I anticipated.
It is, but then it's sideways, and that's how the fan brings up all the heat out of it. It's pretty nuts. It's really very unique. So that's the fan in real time there. It's pretty cool. So they talk to the architects. They break down the specs on it and like why they built it the way they built it. It's a pretty cool video. But he was there on site with them, and they're. I love how so if we were to freeze frame this, we've heard nothing from PlayStation, right? They're really just like they're in the dark. But Xbox has given us this Maxim spread, multiple scenes of it. We're seeing
that's a 3-pager.
Oh yeah, and I love that they're being so like I guess honest or just forthcoming. They're saying here's what this is.
They're just ahead.
Yep,
and they're using it. This is poker when you have the chip advantage. Push those motherfuckers.
Also, it's poker when you lost your house in the last game, and so you're like you're fucking. It's all or nothing now, and so they're showing it.
I like that comparison.
But like I love that because they're against the wall, they're doing stuff like this, which is so like fan forward and fan thinking. I love it, and so they're just in a great spot right now. But so they've had Digital Foundry, they have Austin Evans, and they're just picking this thing apart, and they're completely just showing everything.
That's
like what
impressive.
console launch have you seen where they let someone take it apart before this thing has come out?
Never before.
Right?
I've
Like it's
definitely
so
always seen after every launch somebody buys one and destroys it.
yeah. There's like iFixit does that or whatever those companies will break it down. But like no, this is part of their
destroys it with a hammer or something.
okay.
Right in front of the people waiting in line.
Oh god,
That's
no,
what they
you're
do.
right. Yeah, they did with like PS3s and shit.
Wow.
No, yeah, I think this is a great advertisement. Point. They're just like they're just really they understand what they're doing and they're confident, and so they actually showed off some of the controller here. Here's the this is the Pro one. No, this is the new one. This is the new one. Yeah, it's got the different like D-pad and there's a share button. Yeah, look great. So yeah, there's a lot of news coming out of it.
That's a whole lot of beer.
Yeah, that is damn. That's really good. I'm digging that. He's maybe a warlock or something going on.
Which is the other day too. I saw a thing on IGN that was I want to say trending, but maybe it wasn't. But of really the silence from Sony is deafening, and it is. I can't hear shit at this point.
It's weird at this point unless they just come out of the gate going, here's this, and this, and here's gameplay, and here's a price. Unless they do that, there's so much ground that Xbox has over them right now.
Yeah. My concern, and I think it's very real, is that stuff's not going as planned.
Maybe
they're not making deadlines. There's issues.
That'd be rough.
They've had it feels like pretty smooth launches for a while now. Maybe they're finally having their first. This is their Wii U moment right here.
I'm hoping not, but I think it's possible that that's what's going on, unless that they're geniuses and they're watching this and this isn't scaring them at all, and they're going, "Hey, that's cool, but we have this thing planned that's just gonna shock everyone." I don't know what that is. Yeah. Also, I think because we've seen Xbox, they have more to lose now, so they're really trying to just be ahead of it. And maybe because PlayStation is riding this huge success, they have less interest in like showing their cards right away. I don't know, but as the year we get to the half point of the year and towards the end and holiday season, stuff has to start coming out, and PlayStation needs to start talking about it.
Right.
Because all this ground is being given to Xbox right now.
Xbox is just in control. And like I said, with that xCloud, they have room to have people on an Xbox 360 playing the fucking Xbox Series X games.
Yep.
And I'll pay it. I'll do it.
So here's another breakdown. They got to talk or reveal some of the load times. So as far as like comparing it to traditional Xbox One X. So here's a video going.
I think you flipped it. Oh no, you didn't.
Nope.
I'm never
gonna trust your boy,
I don't
Gil.
know why you'd put the actual one on the right and the preview on the left.
I don't know. That's how it comes, man. That's how
All
it
right,
starts.
so load time for Division.
Yeah. So
Which I'd say the division. Oh, that's not the division. That's
This is the
zombie
State of
game.
Decay.
Yeah, State of Decay.
Although, so I paused it. So the load time should be. It's surprising how slow the load time is for Xbox One X. But yeah, so it was like 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and then the game loaded, and it's still trying to load on Xbox One X. But they do this with another game. I want to say it's like Forza or something.
That seems exaggerated.
And this is coming out of Microsoft, so it might be. You're right, it might be. But that's what they're kind of showing off here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're really leaning hard into that, showing that the SSD that this proprietary one is key to them having this really super fast load time.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We're kind of unpacking this, and we'll get more information as the months come by. But they're on track with showing what they need to show, and Sony is nowhere to be seen.
We're not worried about them at this point. That's the thing.
With Microsoft,
We're
no.
worried about Sony.
I guess the only thing that you could worry about is how much is this thing going to be. And what could you still pontificate on? Like, what would this thing be knowing what we know now? I feel like $600 isn't insane to demand because it's quite a beefy machine.
I still say it's too low.
I think you're right. I think they're going to sell this at a loss if they are. But $600 is nuts to demand.
I don't think they can do at a loss with their current strategy. The fact that they're giving so much away, I don't know that they're making money off of Game Pass right now. That's a damn good deal for the amount of stuff we're getting.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know.
It seems like they wouldn't be, but although the whole market or the whole industry is trying to move to these month by month, systems. So like the money is to be made there, but is it enough to let them sell this thing at a loss?
We need our halfway battle pass. You need to get the battle pass and then still be buying V-Bucks afterwards.
Right. That's the brilliant plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the some of the specs here, and I'll transition here just to break down. Like, so since you're the you're the PC expert, you're the brain.
Massive fall.
Now, what do you think of some of these details? So gotcha. So 12 teraflops confirmed, right? 16 gigabytes RAM. That's pretty big as far as the PC world, or is that like that's nothing to blush at?
I don't know what I have.
You don't know what you have? You got to know
what I have.
Okay. Well, I've made a horrible mistake asking you.
You have.
No, of course you know more than I do. So 1 terabyte. We talked about the expansion card.
That's good. 1 terabyte internal's good. Solid state. You can load super quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice that. They can optimize this even more than Windows. So Windows boots up 20 seconds. This is going to boot up 5 seconds.
That's awesome.
Especially when you factor into that live reload of several different games.
Yeah, so that same video with Austin Evans, they in real time cycle between 5 different games. So they go through State of Decay, Forza, one of the Gears. Like they go through all these, and it saves all the different save points. So it's 5 different last gen games that you can switch between. Now they still have the 4K UHD Blu-ray drive. I don't need this, and I wonder if you can cut the cost by having an option where you don't have it. I mean, they did that with the Xbox One S, the sad one. I'm hoping that they exploit those options because I don't need that thing.
I almost want it because I don't have a disc player in my house anymore.
Oh, that's true.
The last one that I have was my Blu-ray player on my PlayStation 3. But it broke, so I got it replaced, and it works almost as bad now.
Where it's just like hovering and then just
you have
chattering.
You have to shove the disc in at just the right angle,
of course.
That angle is never the same. It's
so it's got some wear and tear on it.
Yeah,
I think it's good to have some kind of disc drive in your house, but I just more and more it's like I don't really need it. But it is smart to make sure you have some kind of backup plan.
I mean, I can't use Redbox without it.
Yeah, are you a pretty often Redbox user?
Well, I'm not going to use it right now, but
with everyone touching the same screen,
you can get stuff quicker.
Yeah.
You pay a whole $1 as opposed to renting it for $5 on Amazon.
No, that's true. I've rented games. The first time I played Doom was actually through Redbox, and it was super easy to rent it. Yeah.
Sometimes it's fine.
That's true. That's true. I guess you do want that backup plan. Well, Gavin, we'll see what else happens with the Xbox news here. Yeah. Pretty interesting. I'm gonna go back to my little article here. We have just some other videos I want to show you. So one of them is Control's DLC was announced. The Foundation gets an announcement trailer.
This is where you're applying makeup to the main character.
It's just a makeup tutorial like on YouTube. Yeah.
But looks gorgeous because of the real-time ray tracing.
Right. So I'm a huge fan of Control. I cannot fucking wait to jump. I haven't watched this trailer yet. The Foundation, I know you explored a little bit in the storyline in the first one. It's just like it's literally the foundation of that crazy weird house that you operate in.
Sure.
And The music's already on point. Oh God, Gavin, I want to play this right now.
I still
so
adore
dope.
the destruction in this game.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so
and somehow it
impressive.
just works the way it works. Like it's kind of amazing how it does.
Yeah, which is funny because we played not that long ago. Hard Boiled or whatever it was, the Hard Boiled game.
Stranglehold. Yep.
Stranglehold, and like the big thing of that game was the destruction. This game basically does it, but casually. That's not the point of the game.
No, but it does it.
Yeah.
I can't wait. So this is available March 26th on PlayStation 4. Okay, so it's coming soon, but I cannot wait, Gavin.
That's exciting.
Oh boy.
A lot of people gonna be very happy.
I gotta. You don't have a PC that's capable of playing that right now,
Oh,
right?
God,
Because
no.
it's pretty beefy. I mean, it worked on Xbox One X, but I know it had issues on PlayStation 4 for sure.
Right.
Now, Gavin, we also got a Resident Evil 3 remake demo release date. So this is March 19th. It's Friday? It's coming up soon. I texted you just the other day. I was like, hey, this thing needs to fucking come out because eventually like the actual game's going to come out. And so we got, I would have loved it today. Like if they just announced, here's a trailer and it's the demo's out now because
the demo's not ready. That's why.
Is a week going to really buy them enough time to get this demo ready?
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, I feel like if you're comparing it to all the big releases, it's like a lot less people are going to want to play this with playing Doom or Animal Crossing. It's like there's other shit going on. It hit while there's such a big gap right now.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But that's my only issue. Am I going to play this for sure?
The other issue, the thing, and this is the argument against modern demos, is they can really only hurt your game. People that buy these games already know they want to buy it. The only thing that playing the demo can do is convince you that, oh, maybe I don't want to play it.
Interesting. So you have more to lose, possibly.
Right.
I know I really dug Resident Evil 2 demo, and I think that got me more on board to play it, but maybe I was more on the fence, I guess.
Looks good, though. It's pretty.
You ever seen some gameplay? Oh, shit. There's the Nemesis guy. So I have no interest in playing the Resistance beta.
I want to play the multiplayer.
You do?
Yeah.
I have
Sounds
no.
fun to me.
Not for me. So this really doesn't show much, but we got a solid date on the demo here, March 19th. So, yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Load that up on my PC.
Also, Gavin, we got some Animal Crossing review rundown. So there's reviews finally came out for Animal Crossing. Do you have much interest in playing this?
None whatsoever.
Gotcha. Well, apparently people are loving it. So
Oh, yeah.
I pulled up the this person on Twitter at Nibbleion. I've always seen their image, never pronounced it, but they're a huge person in the industry. They always have the news and stuff. So he has a breakdown of the actual reviews here. We have Animal Crossing New Horizons, Eurogamer Essential. We have VentureBeat given a 95, IGN given a 9, Game Informer a 9, Destructoid 8.5.
Rip.
It's doing review in progress, so GameSpot.
Oh.
Yeah. It's doing gangbusters. I don't have any interest in it, but I do like they're doing little things that should be standard, but it's like a huge feature. Like you can manipulate the ground a little bit. Like you can create like rivers. I know that was in the big thing in the trailer.
Oh, that's new.
And that seems like a normal thing you'd have in a game, but like in Animal Crossing, it's a big deal. But I know you can you jump people's worlds and share stuff, and it's cool. I love the aesthetic. Like it's cute. I like the art style, but it's never fully like brought me into where I like seriously am gonna try it. But
Well, it's not for us.
that's the thing. I think it's just not for us. But so many people like it. There's always that thing where when enough people like it, it's like, wait, am I something wrong with me? Maybe I need to jump into this and try it.
No, but it's, people have different things that they're into. Like you really love city building, like City and
Sure.
Skylines.
Yep. City Skylines.
Is boner fuel for you.
Oh yeah.
And for me, I just don't care. Which, by the way, I love. I just watched a talk this weekend from Paradox, the publisher for that.
Oh yeah.
And it was a really cool talk on how they handle DLC. The talk was about DLC, basically.
Oh, okay.
How
Because
they
City
handle-
Skylines has a bunch of DLC, especially.
And that's how they, to some people's chagrin, but they say to their fans, some of their true fans, their DLC plan is basically when you buy the game, it should have tons and tons of content, right?
Yeah.
And then when you buy the DLC, you don't have to buy them all. You
Right.
Buy one,
and I
two.
don't. I'll pick different ones that I like. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's meant to be played. Mix and match, make your perfect game, and have hundreds of hours worth of fun.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things they mentioned with their games too, and I'm sure why City Skylines is even more perfect for you than like SimCities or something like that is Their philosophy is a game for everyone is a game for no one.
Oh.
So when they pick their audience and they laser beam in on
lean into
audience.
that specialty that they do. Interesting.
So that's probably why you love that game so much. That game is for you, bud.
It is.
They made that just for you.
You know what? I wouldn't mind just doing the roundabouts because I just love making roundabouts, making them efficient and work. Something about it just gets me going. We'll be driving around town, like in town, and I'll just be like, oh, if you could eliminate this crosswalk by putting a roundabout, let's put a roundabout here. If I was a city planner, it would be a town of just roundabouts, but you'd never have to stop. You'd get everywhere you want to be.
I don't know. A, people around here don't know how to drive and handle a roundabout.
That's true.
And then B, we get some roundabouts that are inappropriate. I don't know if you've been up to...
I disagree.
When you go up into Roslyn, Cleellum, kind of over by...
Oh, there's that. Yeah, there's that one that's kind of annoying. There's two, I think, next to each other.
Dumb roundabouts.
Yeah.
Just make it a four-way.
I can't agree with that. I love roundabouts.
There aren't that many people coming from certain directions.
Doesn't matter. I would eliminate all stop signs and only have roundabouts. If I was running for mayor, I'd say remove all stop signs. We're going only roundabouts in this town.
The worst.
Yep.
The literal worst.
I get rid of all stairs and put roundabouts in their place.
So this week we have coming up.
That's
the end of the news.
Yep.
Doom
is coming up. So the review embargo lifts tomorrow. So tomorrow's when we're going to get all the influx of reviews. I'm sure it's going to be dope.
I don't know that my body's ready.
Yeah.
And after watching T-Pain, I'm for sure that his body isn't ready. So
because he's playing the new one, right? He's playing.
Yeah, they did a demo, and he was either too drunk or too high or too both to be playing a game it's that hard. They didn't put him on an easy difficulty.
Gotcha.
They put him on stupid hard, and he's good at video games. Maybe not when he's drunk, but he's good at video games. So that was.
Well, I've heard different interviews with like Hugo Martin is the creative director. I want to say he's the big guy.
Is that
always
an actor?
No, you'll see his name, or if you see him like pop up promoting it. There's a big Hugo guy.
Is that the?
He's this guy. He was on Rogan too, promoting it.
In my head, I was like, "Is that the bear or is that the hairless bear?" Because there's two, him and I was thinking that
this guy. Yeah, he's the other like Bethesda guy. But he's been advertising the game, promoting the game, and doing conversations.
He cannot pull off a goatee. That is.
I don't mind it. The goatees aren't for me. Just like roundabouts aren't for you.
Rock the beard, dude. His beard is good. That's a
the beard is good
beard.
for sure.
Also, that top left image of Joe Rogan is.
Yeah, it's good stuff. He's an older dude now. It's kind of he's starting to show up, but he's healthy as fuck. But he was on Rogan promoting it, and they were talking about it. But like the way he'll describe in other conversations, the way they're doing the difficulty is pretty nuts. Like they're really trying to layer their approach where it's like each kind of demon needs its own tactic, and so they're really trying to create difficulty that way. And
Which
I love it.
They had their own tactic. That was the thing with the old web. Maybe you'd stick to the 2 or 3 you liked, but now there are weaknesses with specific enemies to specific weapons. So it's even more so specific attachments.
Let's check out the official launch trailer again, just to get our goats going. I don't know what's going on here.
I forgot about that. The only thing that worries me is the PC.
Oh, apparently the requirements are nuts. Yeah,
they're not. It's not. Yeah, it's not easy.
Well, I'll be playing this on Stadia for sure. I haven't heard a fucking sniffle about this on Stadia. What's going on there? Because this is what they kind of came out of the gate saying it's going to work on.
Is it launching same day on Stadia?
I don't know. Apparently
love to
not.
Have all these textures on my computer. That would be great.
Well, really this week.
How much that terabyte of hard drive space doesn't matter if you're doing cloud?
Yeah. No, I think this week we're going to find out. And this is a make or break for Stadia, I think. Because if this doesn't work or they can't go as launch as they talked about, then it's going to be a big deal. That grappling hook with the shotgun is insane.
Okay, so they're showing a bit of that one multiplayer mode where it's you versus 2 demons.
Yeah, that one's interesting because he talked about that in the Rogan interview, and Rogan didn't understand why they're not doing multiplayer because he's like a Quake fan, but they're not doing traditional multiplayer.
Quake, though.
No, it's not. But like that's his only approach, like understanding of what Doom is like that multiplayer aspect to it. But they're not doing any traditional multiplayer with this one. It's just that 2v1 or whatever mode that's going.
People didn't care that much about. There was multiplayer in the last one. People didn't care that much.
They even
had this cool like level editor. Where
was it that bad?
Minecraft
where they shouldn't bring it back?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't special. There was nothing special about it.
Gotcha.
So
nice.
Yeah, do what you do well, and it sounds like it's very tactical if you're the demons, and if you're this guy, then you're swinging from pole to pole. The way they kind of described it as I was watching a long demo on, I want to say IGN for it, is they described the Doomslayer as the F-14 or whatever jet fighter, and yeah, you're going up, you're using up all your ammo, but eventually you have to come down to land. And so when you land is when the demons really want to swarm on you.
Gotcha.
So
they really understand like difficulty and what that dance is to create and how you navigate that, and they're just fucking masters at it.
And it's cool too from that perspective of doing it like that. I like the fact that will never be an esport. You can't have an asymmetric. People have tried. I can't remember what game people did it for. I want to say it was Evolved.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
which eventually became a good game, but still died anyway, which sucks.
Interesting.
But yeah, you can't have an asymmetrical, I don't think, competitive league. So this is just a fun ass multiplayer mode for the sake of having a fun ass multiplayer mode.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it was more interested in single player anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. So in this launch trailer, which was just a couple of days ago, they still have the Stadia logo in there. So we'll see what goes on with that. I'm very doubtful that it's actually going to come out day and date. It's still on the...
Why not, though?
I don't know. I guess because no one's talking about it. But maybe we're going to see the reviews. So hopefully they also got early copies to try it on Stadia and really test it out there. But I think if this was working the way it should, they would also be promoting it more and just talking about it more. Because they need this to work on Stadia. But, yeah. So that's this Friday, I want to say.
You look so bright and cool.
Like I go into the Adam Sandler mode of that.
No one but you. And now you look a fool.
Well, Gavin, that's it for us this week. It's been a meaty hour. Can't wait to play some Doom.
Just the
thickest hour.
The girthiest hour.
Thick Boy Hours. That's what we're going to change our name to, Thick Boy Hour.
Dad bod hour right there.
Yeah. All right, Gavin, I'll let you end it. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter.
Ooh, just on Twitter.
At Drunk Devs.
And you can find...
You just go on Twitter.
Just go to Twitter.
I'm right there.
Google.
Behind you.
And find us on Plastic Card Pod on Twitter as well. That's it for us this week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.